Well, here we are again. This time in Philadelphia after a day off, a jam-filled night. Now, maybe not Baker's Dozen jam-filled, but this was something. They are in fact a jam band, living up to the title tonight, and it got going early and Punch You in the Eye, similar to last time. The intro and Punch You in the Eye, they played around with a little bit. This time even more, and I don't want to say they jammed the intro, but they were teasing what was to come here in the Punch You in the Eye opener. So then Everything's Right really keeps the energy going, gets this whole jam thing off, keeping that on the track. And then Camel Walk, okay, so we back off the jamming a little bit. A big surprise though, everybody's still fired up. 3 songs in, Camel Walk always going to be welcome, perhaps even played a little more. Would not, I don't think you'd get many complaints. A song that really has a lot of potential, too, to do whatever they want with it, including just fill a little role here in the first set into Theme from the Bottom, one that's continuing to play its role. Kind of mid-set here, really just was a launching pad to this Prince Caspian. One of the highlights in the first set, along with Everything's Right, the intro to Punch You in the Eye. But this Caspian, there's a lot of Trey, too. A lot of Trey and Everything's Right. You know, they subtly got into the jam and Everything's Right. Things were a little quiet. By the end, there was a big crescendo and Trey was screaming. Very similar things going on here in this Caspian, but both very good. It's Ice making its debut. It has been a while since we got an It's Ice, and here it comes. And now there's a little section there in the middle. This being a jam-filled night, the area of It's Ice that has the opportunity to do something with. They didn't really come through a lot there. They got to About to Run. Not that it was a bad. Not that it sucked or anything, but they just didn't on such a jam-filled night. I'm surprised. Same thing with a little more in David Bowie, and then About to Run in between there. The Ghost of the Forest song sticking around, kind of our hard rock number for the first set. And then David Bowie, like I said, very similar to It's Ice, where it has this moment where if they're going to do something, well, and then Bowie, they did a little more, and then the end, it felt like they kind of got through the ending of David Bowie quickly. Maybe not as many laps around the outro as normal. We got a Prince Caspian tease from Trey there in David Bowie in a bit of a jam we got, and then we just really, so if the first set had maybe, I don't even know, maybe it wasn't more jamming than normal, maybe it was just the intro to Punch, the Everything's Right, Caspian, all right, and then songs like Bowie and Theme from the Bottom, they kind of feel like a jam, so maybe not, maybe it wasn't as jam filled there early on as I thought, but still jam heavy for a first set. I don't know. Sand, wow. And about 3 times it seemed like it was going to end. It's like, did they remember that this opened the first set, or second set? Not always. Not often do we get the opening song of the second set go and go and go and go. And it wasn't like we had a lot of Trey over here. This didn't really necessarily turn into a Trey Wankfest. I mean, he certainly had moments that were impressive, but then so did Mike and Page and Fishman. Songs like that, within the jam, there's maybe a moment where Fishman's able to take a little bit of a break, but not really. And then they get into My Friend, so Sand, probably winning the night, not necessarily because of the length, but I know, maybe not my favorite of all these longer ones though, I'll say, for the Sand, but still, certainly, when it goes that long, it's going to have some moments. Didn't have long periods of downtime, I'll certainly will say, for this Sand. Then my friend, Trey, I will say right off the top, mentioned that he has not forgot the Mife part, that it has been suggested, I'm guessing on the internet, by Phish fans. What's wrong with you guys? All right, so then he said they did not forget. So it was included tonight with my friend. And, you kind of forget, this song has become such a jam vehicle. You forget, even without all of the jams that have been really good, that it's just a really awesome song. And once again, the jam we have is this dark part. It's like, yeah, this feels like My Friend, you're kind of starting to feel it. And then it goes from this darkness to this real joyous section here in My Friend. So, I guess that's what it is, but you could just, even without all of that, if they just wanted to spin one over here in the first set every now and then, but whatever, I don't know why I'm complaining that they jam on My Friend. I'm not really, and just say it's just the song was awesome tonight. I was thinking, well, they're probably not going to jam much because of this monster, but then they still did, and it wouldn't have really mattered. So then we get Boogie On, a nice cover here. One of my favorite covers, really. I wish Boogie On was a little more heavy in the rotation, but we'll take it when we can get it. Unfortunately, Sand and my friend had hogged up a lot of our time here. So we got Boogie On, Blaze On, back to back, kind of running through those. Carini, though, back kind of over here to what we were getting in the first set. It was a lot of Trey. In fact, there was some drool involved. Maybe the first time since Alpine 2019 that Trey has drooled. Well, Fishman said, did you see the drool? I'm assuming it came from Trey. He's the known drooler in the band. So the Carini ending the set strong. Like over here, again, strong set enders tonight. Ending the sets, unbelievable. And then, okay, so Shade, I didn't know. Moses Heap, DeWitt, and something else. What was that last thing Trey said? He said something else after Moses DeWitt. I did not catch. So we get and that was a rather quick one. Fishman somehow looking more and more impressive the older he gets on the vacuum. It's just one of those instruments. You just keep getting better with time, All right, so then I'll Shade first. And then we really get down to business. Trey shouting out the area, King of Prussia. And we get a Wilson with that. Nice, one of my favorite, just kind of classic rock, almost, dare I say, chomper rock songs. And then Possum ending strong, keeping everything. If the energy started out here, they certainly didn't leave you low with Possum. Philadelphia, night one. I guess it was jam filled. I don't know. There was moments where the jamming was certainly not there. I mean, you got a damn vacuum, all right? Come on. Our first one in a while. First It's Ice in a while. Camel Walk. Even Boogie On, I think. Maybe we got a Boogie On back in April. I don't recall. Okay, everybody. So, boom. Thank you for tuning in. We got a cat, luckily. Floppy not down here. I know some people enjoy the cat visits. Here, let's see. Let me flip this around real quick. Boom. He's a good kitty. He's out. Once I'm telling you, mid-second set is about all he's got in him. I was asking him about the encore. I couldn't really pull anything from that little kitty brain. Sick of sleeping monkey, really, once we got to it. I wasn't, I was close. No, not really. What do I mean I was close? What's that mean? All right, we're out of here. Love you guys. Boom. The man, night one. More to come. We'll be here all summer. The rest of the summer. We got a break coming up. All right, we're out of here.